All right, kids. Listen. Don't listen to this podcast.
Don't listen to this.
If you're not of age.
What's of age?
18.
So 16?
18. We're a bunch of dudes, and we're going to say some really bad words.
Hey, guys. Welcome back to the Conspiracy Podcast.
We got a special segment for y'all.
Yeah, we're going over wwhat's happening now.
It's going to start
in the news.
We're going to make it a staple. We're going to make it a staple for you guys.
Go for the jingle, Jorge.
What's happening now?
Breaking news.
Here's what's in the news today.
Here's tonight's top stories. Now with some breaking news.
Yeah, do the beep. Do the.
Guess what's happening now?
No, you know the news alert. Beep 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 beep.
That's called Morse code.
Breaking news.
So we're gonna do a little different kind of episode today. This is just news headlines, and we're gonna break down a few top headline stories, and
what's happening?
We'll see what's going on.
I mean, there's so much shit going on that we just want to kind of like chop it up about what's in the news.
What's happening? Yeah.
So we're not gonna go super deep into it. We just go show a few topics.
Yeah, we'll see.
Sort of bullshit.
Yeah, we'll see if you guys like it. So if you did not hear, which I don't know how you didn't hear,
No, you heard.
But Tucker Carlson flew to Moscow and interviewed the Russian President Vladimir Putin. If you have not watched that interview, you should. It's I would say it's pretty good. It's not great.
It's pretty good.
It's long.
I didn't
half
watch
of it. Half of it is.
I heard about it. I didn't watch it.
Half of it is Putin telling the history of Russia.
Yeah.
And
the history of like Ukraine and shit.
Yeah, and a lot of people like Tucker Carlson. I'm on the fence, but
I like him.
I think he's he's okay. Yeah. So, but then what's interesting is a few days later, which is about 2 days ago, Alexei Navalny died in Russian prison.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So this is a crazy, weird. I'm going to tell you who it is. So it's a weird story because he flies over, he does the interview, then Biden does a press conference hours later.
Which is the weirdest thing ever.
I thought he was going to resign.
That's the one
I'm
that
not
was
even
like
kidding. I
like
thought he was
last minute.
Yeah.
Well, it's also right after the reports came out, so Biden was going to potentially be on trial for this whole thing, and then pretty much the committee or the council was like, in a nicer way, was like, he's an old man with shitty memory, and he's pretty much not fit to stand trial.
So we're not going to charge him.
And he'll also be considered, in essence, people will sympathize with him because he's old and like aloof and doesn't know what's going on.
Yeah,
that's right.
So he was pissed, and he wanted to do a press conference.
Yeah, then that night he did a press conference, and he came out, and I swear I said to people who were around me, I said, I think he's going to drop out of the race. I thought he was going to do that.
That's what I thought too.
He did not. He
proceeded.
He was really mad.
I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, so he refuted that he was inept or incapable, not inept, but incapable.
Yeah.
Inept is correct.
Yeah. Then he wandered off the stage.
Well, he was also pissed because they were talking about how he forgot the date of his son's
Bo Biden's
death or whatever, right?
Yeah, and so he got very offended by that, and I understand that.
I
part.
understand.
Yeah,
I totally understand the
that part,
offended. For sure.
Then he walked off the stage, and some reporter shouted something, and he decided to wander back onto the stage.
Meander back on.
Yeah, and then he proceeded to call the
Fake
Hamas
news.
war.
No.
He instead of the president over there, he called the Mexican president.
Yeah, instead of like he literally said the Mexican president.
Yes.
And the president of Israel.
So suffice to say, it was a clusterfuck beyond
like
belief.
literally a press night, like the PR nightmare.
Can you imagine being his team in the back going, "Get off the stage! Get off!"
The thing is, like, he gets away with so much shit, and people are like, "Oh, it's fine."
I know.
Like, how is this okay?
I know. So then, a few days later, and it was just announced a couple days ago or two, that Alexei Navalny died in Russian prison. Now, Alexei was a prominent Russian opposition figure and staunch critic of President Putin. He was one of the only ones who could go up against him.
I know, the only one who wasn't fucking scared shitless to fucking go up against
And
Putin.
he tragically passed away after losing consciousness during a walk at a prison called the Polar Wolf.
Jesus,
and he was
terrifying.
serving 30 years.
30 years? Holy shit. For opposing Putin.
And it was because of radical opposition. That was what he was charged with.
That's such fucking shit. God.
So he said, now this is back in the day when he was running, he said that Putin poisoned him. Putin said, no, I didn't poison him. And
wasn't me.
Now he died.
It's like it's a slow delay, like time release.
So then President Biden came out and other Western leaders and condemned Russia and Putin, saying how he was accountable for basically holding him hostage and killing him.
Murdering.
The Kremlin denies involvement, and his supporters hold Putin responsible, saying and demanding accountability for the country's future and for killing the only opposition in his upcoming election.
I mean, the only thing is, don't get me wrong, I'm not here. I'm not Mr. Russia supporter because I'm not. Putin can go fuck off. Don't kill me. No offense,
Don't
brother.
poison me.
Yeah. But I mean, let's be honest. If we're gonna go accountability, how many fucking hundreds, maybe even probably even into the thousands now, of wrongly convicted people literally serve 20 years, 30 years in prison, and then some eventually get let off, but a lot don't.
Yeah.
Like, who's accountable for them? You know, guys who served 20 years in prison and they're oopsie daisy.
Yeah, but
it wasn't him.
But to give it an equivalent, it would be kind of like Hillary Clinton dying in prison and Trump wins the election.
Dope.
No, but you know what I mean?
I could imagine. I
I'm
imagine
just
like,
no,
I imagine that shit all the time.
No, you get it though. Like it would, whoa.
Yeah.
Like the main opposition
especially
against,
with those two people.
You know what I mean? And
involved.
then she dies in prison.
Oh, it's weird. It's weird.
No
It's-
offense to Hillary.
No, it's kind of like, imagine this.
Yeah,
Imagine like you're the opposition, and then you magically, after 40 years of doing business, all of a sudden you have 200 indictments. Imagine that. That's weird. Like a weird. Imagine how weird that would be, and like all the media is like you're a piece of shit when like you were King Dick like 7 years ago. Isn't that weird? How that fucking weird? How
But
that
I
happens?
do chalk this up to the
Super
chess
weird.
the chess pieces of politics.
Oh, for sure.
100%.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like
100%.
Russian politics
Yeah.
is like our politics, just
even
like
wilder.
extreme.
It's
It's
wilder.
super extreme. They're like,
Yeah.
just kill him. Fuck
know.
him. Just fucking kill him. Then
is
you'll
crazy.
be president, bro.
But
Easy
now,
peasy.
Now, last point on this is it kind of weird that this whole thing, this interview happened, and then this happened days, like 72 hours within?
Is it weird? No.
No.
I actually think it's probably
You don't think it's
probably
related?
worse. It probably I guarantee
Worse for them?
I think the Russians didn't want this to happen. They're like, fuck,
I
because
see.
there's like all this
So this was not intentional.
extra
You don't think it was
attention,
intentional?
extra attention, and then he dies. No, because
Yeah.
like
he was
could've-
already in prison.
Well, he could have died like you know under the radar, like fucking whoopsies.
Yeah. All right, moving on. SpaceX Falcon rocket launched for the first mission to the moon since the last Apollo mission in the 70s.
That's exciting.
So, a joint effort between SpaceX, NASA, and the company that built the payload, basically. And I can pull up the name.
Blue Origin or something.
No, it's not Blue Origin, but it's
It's like Intel.
something like that. Yeah. And so SpaceX was the rocket that launched the robotic spacecraft to the moon on Thursday, with setting up a landing for February 22nd. So that'll be
Damn, next
in a few days,
next Thursday,
next week or something like that.
That thing's going. It's
fast.
I feel like it should be. No, I feel like it should be faster.
You think so?
I don't know.
6 days to the moon?
It doesn't feel like it's that far away.
It's pretty fast.
I mean, it's like I see that motherfucker.
it takes longer to drive to LA. I know.
No, it doesn't.
Well,
Driving slow as shit. I'm driving a spacecraft, motherfucker.
so if the landing is successful, it will be the first soft landing on the moon for the United States since the last of the Apollo missions. And
Does
the
it say-
first commercial vehicle to touch down on the lunar surface.
That's
does
pretty
it, does
fucking
it say
awesome.
what's in the payload? Like what's
Yeah,
in it?
so it's basically
It's like nothing.
It's to measure weather, to a lot of science.
Explore.
Yeah, to
Explore
explore
the
to
moon.
measure
It's like a
lot of different
like a
things.
rover.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's all
And
machine. There's no man in
Didn't
it.
I hear that they were going back to, or they were going to the dark side of the moon or whatever? Or no?
No, that was Transformers.
Love it. That was so fast. I know. That was so like I feel like you had that one like sheathed in your back pocket.
I knew he was gonna bring it up.
He was ready for that.
Wing that fucker out. Yeah. That seemed scripted.
There you go.
Did you guys
I'm
talk about this
excited-
before?
I'm excited for them to go to the moon.
Yeah,
Oh,
for
me too.
sure.
That's fucking
First time.
awesome. I love it.
I mean,
So does this debunk the whole we went to the moon?
I just don't know. Like, why did they?
You know, in the whole
like,
Oh, yeah.
Why did
That's a
they
good
wait
point.
50 years to go back? Though? That's the
nobody-
question.
or
because
did
it's
they?
desolate. There's nothing there.
I mean, but is there?
No, okay. Let me throw out a scenario.
I'm just saying, like, we're so greedy. We're like, let's just drill some holes.
Because we're going to do an
gold.
episode part
we're
2.
We're gonna keep these under 5 minutes. Yeah, like a 5-minute max on each
We're already
topic.
over
Yeah, because we got topics. Yeah, we're
already over 5.
No, we're not. We're at 4.
Per topic.
We're at 4. Yeah, per topic. Yeah.
Quickly.
Okay, let me throw out a scenario. Us 3, we develop an organization and we decide to go to the moon.
Illuminati.
And we tell our investors and we tell our people, our community, that we're gonna find so many cool things. We might even find technology. We're gonna find
be like minerals and shit.
new science formula that's gonna just it's gonna be fantastic. And then we get there and it's a desolate desert with nothing.
Okay.
And we spent $1 trillion to get there.
Before Russia.
Before Russia.
I was going to say, like, it wasn't really about, like, discovering things. Literally, here's what happened. The commies are going to make it before us. Goddamn, we got to get there.
Absolutely.
I don't give a shit what's there. We're getting to the moon.
I'm not even kidding.
I don't care how many people die. Like, we're just gonna
so then we get there and there's nothing else to do.
That we know of.
Yeah. No. This would be like.
Does that make sense?
This would be like everybody.
So then you come back. No. Jorge is Neil Armstrong. He comes back.
Why does he get to be Neil?
And then he sits down. He sits down and he goes, "We brought rocks."
No. This would be like.
There's nothing else.
No. This is like. This is like
nothing.
everybody says the Earth is flat, and so we send out somebody out there to go to the edge, and they do, and they're like, "Oh shit, there's a lot more out there towards the edge or beyond the edge, but I made it to the edge and I brought this evidence back."
Yeah.
Why would you not go back and explore? And this is just I'm not saying the Earth is flat. I'm just saying, like,
no, I get what you're saying.
Everybody thinks one
thing
thing or doesn't know about what is past that edge.
And we also went to imagine you go to let's say you're from Europe and you go to Iowa and you're like, well, America kind of sucks. Let's leave. And you're like, well, there's this whole other continent here.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other shit.
Sure.
That's why you go back.
Eric is not convinced at all.
Anyways, we'll find out next week, guys.
Yeah.
If we make it.
Luckily, radio waves travel the speed of light. Yeah. So we'll get the pictures real fast.
And hopefully there's no Decepticon there.
Dude, do you imagine? What if, like, literally there was Decepticon? Oh, my God.
It would be cool.
Michael Bay's like, I've told you guys.
Cool. Okay, next up, the Kansas City Chiefs won the Super Bowl against the San Francisco 49ers. Major thing. I grew up in San Francisco, so it was a horrible game. Horrible on all levels.
Well, it was good in the beginning when you guys were winning.
Yeah, it was fantastic. And
you even had a chance in the overtime.
And I don't really want to talk about the game at all. I just want to move on with my life.
What's happening right now?
But
we're talking about.
But the news that came out, the news that came out that is more recent and is more upsetting is the shooting that happened at the parade in Kansas City.
Super upsetting.
And if you don't know anything about it, which I doubt, I mean most people do, 2 teenagers were charged in connection with a shooting incident at the parade in Kansas City. It resulted
over an argument.
Yeah, it resulted in 1 death and about 20 injuries from the shooting, including children. The authorities indicated the additional charges are forthcoming and that the teenagers remain in custody. So at this moment in time, all we know is, like Sean said, some sort of dispute or argument.
Like they got,
and a lot of it was caught on film.
Yeah, and they even showed the film of the fans tackling one of the dudes.
Yeah, and it was those guys are amazing. That was incredible. Yeah. They just tackled him.
Good fucking job.
What was strange though is I saw one video where it was like a rifle.
Yeah,
it wasn't like
he pulled out his pants like.
It's just it's a little confusing to me how a dispute would end with a rifle.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right. I don't know if that's true, and maybe if somebody can reach out and tell us if it really was.
With that.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it was in his backpack or something. I don't know.
Like a folding stock.
Yeah.
It's possible.
But our hearts go out to Elizabeth Galvin and her family. She was a radio host who passed away.
Oh, that sucks.
It super sucks, dude.
But this comes back to the conversation of guns.
And see, this is
and in large gatherings. What do we do?
Well, here's the thing. It's like my thing, Eric, is like I get it. I understand where you're coming from, but making gun restrictions worse doesn't change that. Doesn't make this not happen. It doesn't. That doesn't solve the problem. I mean, I always go back to the classic example. Look at the war on drugs. Yeah, make them all illegal. So who cares?
Yeah,
more money for the cartels.
Yeah,
you can make guns illegal and you can take it away. It actually
no, and I wasn't throwing out the idea of restricting guns. I was just saying, like, what do we do anything?
I don't. What can you do? I mean, what can you do?
Or we just don't do anything.
Yeah, get tighter security.
No, the fact is like
so tighter security.
On something like that, like
where
or
there's
anything where there's like a major crowd.
Yeah, maybe they have like metal detectors or some shit. Can't go into the plaza unless you get the metal detector.
Yeah,
that makes sense. But my thing is like,
I mean, something like that it's impossible because it's on the street.
I know.
But I'm just saying for other crowds or, I don't know, schools, like that's a whole other thing. You definitely need security, way more security than something like that. But
my thing is,
and I don't want to say that we're going to solve this issue in the 4 minutes that we're going to talk about this news. But I do think it's something that I would be more nervous to bring my children to a large gathering because of the last 20 years.
Yeah,
I think it's like
I agree.
Right?
Who gets
compared
that,
to the 20 years before?
Who gets that pissed?
Sure.
Like, we're in an argument. Oh, now you have to die. Like,
I know.
What is this argument about?
Yeah, but I actually more subscribe that maybe it goes back to drugs.
Oh yeah,
on the beginning.
Oh yeah, true.
And so maybe those. Anyways, there you go. A sad, super shitty story, but it's happening right now.
That's what's happening
right now. Yeah. In other news, Donald Trump was ordered to pay $354.9 million to the state of New York and is being barred from New York business for 3 years.
I love it's like to the state of New York. Why does the state get the money?
Yeah, well,
why does the state get the money? It doesn't make any sense.
It was a civil suit, so it was not a.
No, but who was the civil body? The state of New York was suing him?
That's fucking weird. Why does it go to the state then?
Yeah.
Well, it was a lawsuit accused Trump and his family businesses of overstating his net worth by as much as $3 billion over a decade to deceive banks in giving him more loans.
Yeah.
Trump's attorney, Alina, decried the ruling as a manifest injustice, characterizing it as culmination of a politically motivated vendetta against Trump, and they vow to appeal the decision.
I'm sorry, that's true.
It's so obvious.
Literally, they're literally making him pay $350 million because, like you said, you were a little bit richer than you are, so pay us $350 million.
No. Well,
it's
real quick.
Defrauded.
It would be like me going to a bank and saying, "Hey, the Conspiracy Podcast LLC has 1,200 million followers, and we need $1 billion loan."
Yeah, and I'm the bank.
And you're the bank.
I'm the bank.
And I'm like, we hella famous, yo. Give me the numbers.
Why would I ever give it to you without doing my due diligence?
I know
exactly.
No, I know.
So who's the burden on? Who's the burden on?
I know.
Me.
Is it
on the bank?
It's the burden's on the bank.
But it's also called fraud.
But is it?
No, it's not because this
you don't
is
think so?
No, because the bank is saying, "Oh, okay."
No, but the definition of fraud is pretending something is something and then it's not that thing.
No, but I could say anything I want. It doesn't matter. Here, so you're going to charge me for fraud if I say I'm rich?
We'll do a smaller.
I am rich.
We'll do a smaller argument.
I'm rich.
One, a smaller one. You're applying for a mortgage.
Okay.
Okay. You actually make 50 grand a year.
Okay.
Yeah. You put on there that you make 200.
Yeah, you know how many records
is that fraud?
And they're going to be like, "Oh,
is that fraud?"
No, because they're going to be like,
"No,
let me see your bank statement."
Dude,
they're not going to give you a loan.
Per the U.S., that's fraud.
Okay, if that's a fraud, then why did everybody in 2008 get a fucking mortgage?
Boom, and guess who got bailed out? The bank.
Yes,
literally.
I'm just telling you.
They're like, "What you make $6,000 a year? Here's $1 million house, baby."
If you lie and you put 200 grand. That is a form of fraud. I'm not saying it's massive.
No.
I'm not saying it's massive.
But I'm saying
but
what he's saying
it's
is
a form.
and
this is a minuscule example of it.
No, but Eric, do you remember when you got your mortgage and do you have to provide so much, doc, dude? It's
now you do
6 months worth of fucking.
What is the circumference of your penis head?
Like literally, dude, I had to get my fucking W-2s and all this shit. Like,
it's wild. Yeah.
So it's like, there's no way he could have.
I know.
It's impossible. And then they make him pay $350 million. I'm like, okay, you said you were richer than you are, so pay us just amount of money.
It's ridiculous.
So this was a 3-month trial, and it ended also with Trump's sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, each to pay $4 million in fees too. So the whole fam got hit on this one.
It's so hilarious.
I know.
It's so ridiculous.
There you go.
That's fucking bullshit.
Dude,
Anyways, we'll see what happens. They're gonna appeal.
Dude, it's
also,
classic
I
New
think it's a
York.
little weird that you go, hey, you can't do business here for 3 years.
Like,
Yeah.
who has the rights
I understand.
to do that?
I understand if you're like, hey, you get a judgment, but then you're like, hey, you're banned for 3
From
years.
doing business,
Well,
yeah.
I think it's like,
seems a little
see,
weird.
like
But,
this is
you
when
know.
you get into like 1984. They're like, well,
Yeah.
we're just gonna take, or it's like China. They're like, well, now your business is in front of the state.
Like Jack Ma fucking
Oh yeah,
disappeared.
Jack Ma.
Jack
disappeared.
Ma, and then he comes
Yeah,
back. He's like, I
"No."
apologize.
and I'm stepping
That was
down.
That was
Xi
incredible.
Jinping is the greatest human who's ever lived.
Yeah, that was incredible.
Look, he's like
Didn't he
he's like the
disappear
12th
for-
richest man in the world,
Didn't
and he
he
like
disappear?
vanished.
It was 2 years that he disappeared.
No, it was like 6. It was like for 3 months.
Oh, okay. My bad.
But you take a dude who literally is worth $40 billion and he just vanishes and like
Quick
family
question on
doesn't
that.
know where he is.
Do you think he just is not worth that?
Jack Ma?
Yeah.
Oh, he 100% is.
Not
No,
anymore.
but I mean, like,
No, but he's
because
not.
of what happened.
No.
Like, underlying all of it, the fact that he was,
What do you mean?
meaning he was so swayed to say, oh, this is the best guy ever. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for everything. Do you think it's all fake, like a facade that he actually is that rich?
I think that he.
No.
I think
Based
no,
on that?
I think no. I think
Why? I'm saying he's so rich that he shouldn't have to succumb to that.
But
Not in China.
No, theoretically,
He's so
it's
rich
China,
that it
baby.
still happened in
That's
China.
the point.
see. Yeah,
That
I
China
see.
is like
I see.
Xi Jinping has supreme control over everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that was the point. It was like it doesn't matter who you are.
Exactly. Okay.
Oh, you're so rich, you could buy a country. Sorry.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Sorry,
oh, he's
bro.
like, cool. I'll just kill your family.
By the way,
bye.
though,
Like,
his company, the
Alibaba,
Alibaba, that
yeah.
shit's been tanking ever since.
Oh, really?
So he's probably worth
Sure.
like, I don't know, $5 billion now.
no,
I
Jack
don't know.
he probably got replaced. Like,
Yeah.
they cloned him.
Yeah, he's
and he
probably-
came back.
He
He's
did.
like, oh, so
He
sorry,
did actually.
So sorry.
$5 billion. What a broke
No, I was gonna
ass.
say he did.
broke ass
Plebe.
bitch.
Broke ass.
Broke ass.
I'm not sure. Look how much he's worth.
I'm like worried about my tax return.
You're like, oh, what bracket am I in?
Five grand. How do I pay my $5 grand?
Yeah.
And he's worth $5 billion.
He's worth $24 billion, Jorge.
24.
He's like,
He got
they've
cut
been
in half.
taken.
I don't know. I feel like it's fake now.
Oh my god, that's
Why didn't he
another-
just
another
leave
episode.
China? Why didn't he just leave?
He can't.
You can't.
Homie, you here.
So it's
Once
not.
you're in,
so it's
you're
not
in.
so when you say 20 billion in China,
Blood
it's not
in,
the
blood
same as 20
out.
billion in the US.
So that's what's in the news. That's what's now.
That's what's
what's
happening
happening.
now.
That's what's happening.
There you
Let us
go.
know what you guys think about this.
We should
new
get
style.
we should get a button on there that
episode.
goes, "Hey, what's happening?" You know,
Yeah,
so-
we can get a little jingle. We can
Yeah,
get,
we
we
can
can get
jingle.
official on
We can
this.
get the Patreon to do a jingle.
Yeah.
Hey, Gamer
get a
Gamer
jingle.
Dave, jingle it. We need a jingle.
Quick
We need
Jiggle
a-
it. Jiggle it,
but,
baby.
but we'll catch you next time on what's happening right now.
All right, man. Night night.